Alright, so VERDEHILE, the Fire Vampire, is coming to global servers. It will be the next banner that is available to summon right after the update, or maybe even a few hours before the update. It's basically coming out tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this, or it might just be like 2 months from now, who knows. But yeah, basically this guy, I'm reviewing this guy because he is one of the best picks as far as PvE goes. You may not see any use for him right now, like at this specific moment with the specific raids that are released. But trust me, the further we go, the harder the raids will be. There are already hero raids that are happening in Korea, which is basically just much tankier versions of the regular raids that are available. So the further the game goes, the more useful this guy will become, and basically I will try to explain how to use him, where he is useful, and we'll try to use him as well. Okay, so basically, first of all, a quick explanation of where he is useful, or rather what he does in order to find where he's useful. So the first skill, what you need to know about it is it gives some thirst and it gives critical resistance down. This skill is probably one of the best skills as far as the Farah kill rate goes, because one of his phases has a 80% crit rate buff, which the VERDEHILE can easily pretty much like nullify. So only VERDEHILE and Shihwa have that buff easily accessible. Other units that have it will be Dark and Light Nat 5s, so I do recommend using it there. And now the main selling point of Verdi, so it will be his second skill as well as his ultimate, and of course the basic attack sort of combos into it. So second skill is just a weaker version of the ultimate. Every time he has 10 thirst, which he can get from here or from just dealing critical hits with his basic attack, will give you the following buffs. So first of all, it will give you level 1 mana cost down, which will basically reduce the cost of abilities by 1 mana, and that stacks for each level up to 5. It will also give you 1 level of mana regen and attack speed up. We can kinda ignore the attack speed up. The main thing you need to know are the first two. And the ultimate is sort of like a similar version, except that instead of level 1 buffs, it will be level 3 buffs. So mana cost down, mana regen type up, and attack speed up. And here's what you need to know in order to successfully use it. So I made a short calculation to showcase how effective VERDEHILE is in PvE content. So usually you may have your main damage dealer as Nadinha, as Argen, maybe even Tessarian, depending on which one you chose. I personally have I personally have Nadinha. I never built Argen really except for testing it, but I personally just prefer her because she's already awakening level 15, so I just stuck to it. And the way you use these units that scale with the enemy debuffs is basically you debuff the boss a lot, drop like 8 to 10 debuffs, and then start spamming their second skill. So for Nadinha, it's this one. For Argen, it's his second skill, and that way you're able to do a lot of damage in raids by just spamming these abilities, right? Now, if you have this skill maxed out, which you should, this is probably like the second most important skill right after the total mana charge, you gain 1 mana every 3 seconds. This means that in order to spam this ability, you are basically able to do it every 9 seconds, but it costs 3 mana, it regens 1 mana every 3 seconds. That means you use approximately 1 ability per 9 seconds. Now, where Verdi comes into play is he not only reduces the cost of this ability, but also increases your mana regen. So if you look at the calculation I made just to showcase the effect, 1 skill usage without any mana regen or mana cost buffs will require you 9 seconds to use. With his second skill, whenever he uses it with 10 thirst, he will get level 1 buffs. That drops the time required to use the skill a lot to 4 seconds, because your mana regen will jump to once per 2 seconds because it gives 50% faster regen. Also, your skill will only cost 2 mana, meaning that you get 2 mana per 2 seconds, or rather 1 mana per 2 seconds, you need 2 mana, that's 4 seconds. If you use your ultimate, your cost will drop down to 1 mana. This means that with level 3 regen, which is 1 mana every 1.5 seconds because it's 2 times faster, each skill usage will only require you 1.5 seconds to fully regen it. So with just the second skill, you are able to use your skills 2.25 times faster or more often, and with the ultimate active, you are able to use your nuke ability 6 times faster. Yes, 6 times. You can see where I'm going with this, but this pretty much, having VERDEHILE in your team will pretty much make your DPS units godlike. And just a quick showcase how it works. I will of course jump into some raids in just a second, but we have this little boss. Usually you would be just doing damage to raids, you're pounding slowly away at it. Once you have your ultimate charged, you switch to VERDEHILE, you use your ultimate, your units will have 1 mana cost nukes. And as you can see, if you just spam that nuke ability constantly, of course I'm not doing damage right now because the boss is cleansing, but look at the mana regen and look at the amount of skills I can use. The mana just does not drop below 9 at this point, and you're basically able to spam this ability like that. You can spam both abilities if you want, depending on what the skill does, and as you can see, we dropped the boss quite a lot. The Verde is gonna use his skills, so again, he gives level 1 mana buffs. He regens all of that while spamming. You can of course also speed up that regen by switching to Verde himself. That way you can spam the first skill at a cheaper cost, and once he has that, you can switch it back or you can use it yourself. He'll use the ability and you can go back to spamming your skills. So yeah, this is sort of an incredibly OP combo, and there are some ways you can make it even more OP. And the way you make the raid team even more OP is by adding this unit right here, Tiana. So you may not have her, and if you don't, trust me, VERDEHILE is still super useful because as you saw, even without any ultimates, you are able to use your skills much faster than 2 times at the speed. So even then he's useful, but if you have Tiana, you are able to take this team comp even further. And the reason why you can do it is her second skill. So if you look at the description, you may think that for raids this is really nothing special. It only strips all of the buffs, and a lot of raids don't even have buffs usually. So how could this be useful? The main selling point is the increased ultimate gauge part. So with this, whenever you start a raid, you start with 10 mana, you are able to use 2 skills right off the bat, and you will be able to use the third skill after 6 seconds. You are able to charge your ultimate fully by using this skill on an opponent in 4 turns. And if you see where I'm going with this, once you start spamming this ability, you can quickly switch to VERDEHILE, use his ultimate, and with the cheaper cost, you can start spamming your damage dealer abilities, or you can quickly fill up the gauge with your Tiana once again while her cost is at 1. You will only need to use it 4 times to get the ultimate back up, or maybe it's around 5 times because the cost itself will give you a bit less. And once you're filled, you can switch to your damage dealer and continue doing damage. Or if you feel like the damage will be enough from a single ultimate, you can just continue spamming with your damage dealer from the beginning of the ultimate. And here, let me showcase you how quickly you can charge it. Currently at 0 ultimate charge, you start your raids with 10 mana, so this will pretty much give you an accurate representation of how fast it charges. And let's go. So we use our skills, again. We wait for a bit. Keep in mind that her skill actually also has a 50% chance to give you 1 mana back. So you are able to charge it even faster. And there we go. We have the ultimate that took no more than 20 seconds. And after this, you are able to switch to Verde. You can start spamming your damage dealer abilities, or you can start spamming Tiana's abilities to quickly charge up the ultimate again. So you do this, yeah, it looks like it takes 5 times, and imagine Ariel is my damage dealer. I continue doing damage with that third skill. Whenever the mana buff drops, you switch back to not Argon, I keep confusing him. You switch back to VERDEHILE, you use his ultimate again, and you're basically cycling that ultimate infinitely. Okay, these people look pretty good. We'll try it out with them. And let's see how it happens. Yeah? Hopefully Tiana actually spams her skills this time instead of sitting AFK. Because like, what on bloody earth was that? Okay, use the skills, use the skills. I have a buff, that's looking good. One more Tiana usage. We're gonna wait for the... I know I could have used ult here, but I'm gonna wait for the phase. I'm gonna wait for the shield to be broken. Any second now. Saving mana as well. And we use the ultimate. We go Naraka and we start spamming. And we start spamming. Look at that damage flying up. Look at that damage flying up. Oh, look at that damage flying up. Straight to the top. Straight to the top. And boom. Beautiful. Just like that. Just like that. So if you are running it with players who are not able to one-shot the boss with just the regular damage dealers, you are able to use this unit like this. Okay, and there we go. Should be a decent party. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I want to let Nadin Ha use her skills first of all. So I could start nuking a bit. Get that mana charging. Okay, and now that we have the almighty Verde ult, I'm gonna wait for Nadin Ha to get attack buff. And I'm gonna use her ultimate. And... this sucks, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. We spam that, and we start doing damage. And we start spamming damage. We start spamming that beautiful damage, yeah? Nadin Ha gets caught a bit, aside. We just spam that damage, we just spam that damage. Beautiful, beautiful damage spam. And yeah, that took like 20% of his HP. Not bad, not bad at all. So a bit of a scuffed run. I'm gonna use this skill to get cheaper cost. As you can see, the nuke now only costs 2 mana as well. And we'll just finish off the Farah kill. So yeah, a bit of a wimpy run. That water maybe is horrible. Just killed my Nadin Ha, so yeah, it took like 12 kills. But yeah, we did it. You can see how kinda cool Verde is, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're wondering how to ruin this guy, the 2 most important stats will be critical rate and attack speed. Anything else that you can get will help him out, so stuff like crit damage, attack, defense, HP are all awesome stats. The main thing you should worry about though is first of all critical and second of all attack speed, so that you can make use of this passive. So whenever his basic attacks get a critical hit, he will get some thirst. And even for this skill, like, you're able to charge thirst, but when non-soul linked, you will get more thirst from his basic attacks than the first skill. And yeah, that's about it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, and tomorrow there should be some patch notes which we will cover whenever they came out. Peace.